On today's adventure, I'm going to show you Cold Spring Cave. We're going to look at cliff-dwelling ruins, petroglyphs, pictographs, and a whole wide variety of some very, very well used ancient Native American artifacts. This was a workshop. This is where they would literally sit and work. These are the deepest grooves I've ever seen. So let's hit part 3 on this series of Comb Ridge, Utah, and see one of my favorite ruin locations, Cold Spring Cave. So now we're headed to Cold Spring Cave ruins, alcove, overhang thingy, ancient cliff-dwelling ruins. Now, if the directions I've read are correct, it's going to be that cave right there. Be sure you read the directions really carefully. Luckily, this trail actually has a trail marker, so that's nice. And by trail marker, I mean a sign that says no vehicles allowed. There's one here, and there's also one just over there, but you're gonna have to have some fairly high clearance to park right at the trailhead. Otherwise, do what that guy did over there and just park there, because the spur road, the access road to this trailhead, is a little dicey. I certainly wouldn't want to do it when it was wet. We're gonna head towards this cave right here. These are all thorns, regular old thorn bushes, much more severe than the tumbleweed thorns, which are also just brutal. This is why I think it's important you have proper adventure gear. I always wear long pants of a rugged material, because these thorns will just catch on everything. Bare legs, scratchy, scratchy. And if you're wearing those athletic style pants, the swish swish pants that make a lot of noise when you walk, these thorns will just grab that material and hang on. Personally, I recommend good rugged adventure clothing. Okay, we've crossed the flat. We're coming up the canyon and we reach a fork. I can see the alcove on the right side. That's why we're gonna take the right-hand fork. Both trails look to be equally used, but we're going up the right side fork. There's a little rock stack. That's probably a good sign. So coming up on this big rock face, just about to the ruins, it's clearly a spillway where water comes down, but there's some very peculiar depressions in this rock. grinding stones, or I should say more like sharpening stones, but I can't be 100% on that. Typically when it comes to the grinding of the flour and the corn, it's going to be a round bowl, where the elongated ones are more commonly associated with sharpening, like sharpening axes and things of that nature. Tools that don't require flint knapping, where they make arrowheads, they're chipping rocks into a specific shape, whereas the axes, they are grinding them to get them a better edge. And that is more associated with the elongated markings. The round ones, those ones are more associated with the grinding, like the mortar and pestle, grinding flour or whatever. So the ancients were sitting on this rock, working their tools, making their food. This is really neat. And the ruins are all up in there. Let's get a closer look. So just in this loose dirt on our way up into the alcove, we're finding shards, worked over pieces of rock, left over from when they were making their tools, or perhaps remnants of an old tool, arrowhead, spear tip that broke, or knife, or any stone tool made by flint knapping. So shards over here. But when it comes to finding pottery, you're looking for really, really smooth pieces. So this caught my eye just because it was so smooth. Might look like an ordinary rock because it's just gray and nondescript. When you turn it over, you can see the pattern there. That's the pattern of the outside of the pottery. And there's many different kinds. Painted pottery, dyed pottery, or in this case, textured pottery. It's going to be really, really, really smooth from the inside. Not very thick. And then the outside will either have a texture like this one, or it will be painted or dyed. And again, there's many different varieties. But let's go see these ruins. I kind of nerd out at this ancient mortar. The fact that hundreds, thousands of years ago, there was a bunch of people making this mortar to assemble this structure, and it's still there. When I came up the hill, I completely missed the other ruins on the eastern side of this alcove. So we'll have to go see them on our way out. That's the thing about these areas. You just have to have your head on a swivel and literally look at everything. You can see down there on that rock, those vertical stripes, and then the little indents. It was explained to me that those vertical stripes were for honing down their axe heads after they got an edge on it to make it even sharper. And this circular structure right here, I believe this is a Kiva, basically their church, their spiritual place where they would come to do ceremonies. So this circular depression here would be a Kiva. I've seen a lot of cobs in some of these ruins, but that's my first husk. That's incredible. And graffiti obviously is not allowed in any of these places. It's like one of the worst things you can do. But this graffiti, 1892, Cold Springs Cave, this becomes an actual historical part of the cave. So even though it's more modern, it's still pretty interesting. So here's how the cave gets its name, Cold Springs Cave. So this would have been a perfect place for the ancients to build a neighborhood, a house, a little community. There's a natural spring coming right out of the rock. So here's a ready and convenient source of water. And presumably, when they were living here, they would have had this whole depression filled up, so it was a deeper source of water. But it's still seeping. That's the cool thing. Thousands of years ago, they built their settlement here because it had a source of water, and it's still there. So one of the weird things that kind of occurs to me when I'm out in these places is I'm literally sitting in the exact same spot where people 1,000 years ago were sitting and working on their tools, just working on their life. This was a workshop. This is where they would literally sit and work. And this is the evidence. It's just really neat. this support isn't gonna last much longer. One small earthquake and it's done. But it's neat that it's lasted this long. They were very, very busy on this rock right here. This is where the airflow for the fire inside the Kiva would have come in. That's neat. And you can still see the soot marks on the top of the cave from all the fires they had. That's just incredible. What a neat area. These are the deepest grooves I've ever seen. So this was a favored spot. That's really unique. There's so much to see in these locations. These also are incredibly deep. I walked right by him the first time, didn't even see him because I was looking the opposite direction. So we just came down from seeing the upper ruins where the caves are, but then more ruins spread out along the alcove. Now we're gonna go down to the eastern side, and I don't know what this is. We saw this when we first came up the draw. That has been carved out, but I don't know if this is an original feature of the ruins, like maybe there was a seep coming down here and they had a water basin to collect it. Either way, that's weird. But for all I know, a pack rat just dug it out. But if you know what this is, please let everybody know in the comments. Are really, really small. So either these were all children's hands, or these people were way smaller than I thought they were. All right, so we just saw Cold Water Spring ruins, pictographs, and petroglyphs. Now we're off to Fishmouth. Our plans have to change a little bit because we want to be back in Moab by about 7, so we're gonna have to skip a couple of the other ruins we wanted to see. But hey, that's the nature of adventure. And there's so much to see on Comb Ridge that you'd really need at least a week of camping out here to see everything. There's just a staggering amount of adventure to have out here.
Now that was a really fun experience. If you have an idea for an adventure that we should go on, please put it in the comment section. And if you're looking for some more adventure ideas, you can click one of these links and go to the page, because there's literally hundreds of other adventures going on there, and I hope to see you next time.